Well, what a disappointing way for season one to come to a close. This year was really in our grasp, but we lost our final two games of the regular season, knocking us out of the conference title game. We still got a great bowl game look with the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, but we were shown up by in-state Cal. So after such a promising start that saw us, around this midway point, we changed our quarterback. We're thinking, man, we might just go run the table here on the rest of the season. It fell apart. And that puts Coach Bobby Ellington in a rough spot. Because if we take a look at this roster that we had to work with in season one, this was really built to win now. A lot of seniors, a lot of upperclassmen, but those that aren't looking to graduate, well, they are threatening to transfer away. A lot of this roster will be gone in just, hopefully, less than an hour. Of course, they have changed a lot of things. They've added a lot of things here to College Football 27, which means we've got even more work to do in our offseason. And for Coach Bobby Ellington, this is his first. A chance to show what he can do, build a roster based off of what he wants to do, not what the previous coaches wanted to do. But arguably the most important thing, we already failed one of our AD challenges, and that was to beat North Dakota State. We've got another one that comes due here today. That is a top 100 class at National Signing Day. Right now, we stand at 129. In Sac State, in their first year competing against all these other schools for all these recruits and transfers, land themselves the top 100. We're going to find that out today as we look to build ourselves for season 2. As a reminder, we are looking to build a pro-style offense and a 4-2-5. We put it at zone because that's what the team was better at. We're going to see what options we have for us in the transfer portal, what our team is looking like when we get to that point of finding who left, who is returning, and we'll decide kind of the best subdivision there of the 4-2-5 defense. So that's the base guide that we're going to use to make our decisions today. I've put together a list of players. I went through the roster, all those that are looking to transfer, and I made a list of those that I think we really need to try to bring back, those who could progress and actually do something here for us, hopefully next season. So as we get underway then today, it is time to get moving. We did go ahead and already fire our offensive and defensive coordinators last time. We just frankly haven't found too many great options. But I was watching a little bit of some Mr. Hurricane off-season last night and this morning, and I realized I never checked the all tab. Why they're hiding these coordinators from us, these coaches from us, I couldn't tell you. But there are actually a lot more options. They're just going to be a little bit more expensive. And ultimately, are they going to help us out or are they not? That's what we're going to try to find today. There are some affordable ones that may be a little bit different. I mean, some of these guys super cheap, which means they're probably first-year guys looking to move up from a assistant coach probably. So looks like we're going to have to try to just throw some money around a little bit here and try to bring in something here for us to try to help us out a little bit. There are some people interested. Again, just most of these guys have not had previous coaching experience, so they don't actually have anything built up in their coaching tree, which is not something we are actually looking to do. Now, one thing we could look to do is look for someone here like Tressel, right? He doesn't have any current offers, so while he may be looking at 240, obviously we don't have that in our budget. We can lowball if they haven't had an offer. Maybe they'll join, maybe they won't. We could put multiple offers out. And what we're looking for, I think, is probably going to be something that's going to give us day one boost to our ratings or help us even more in recruiting. That's a big thing here for Sac State. We need to improve our recruiting to really start building up this roster that, again, I expect to just be absolutely decimated. So let's take a look here at what we do have in Tressel. He definitely doesn't have any of the motivator side of things. Check the abilities. Tactician does actually cover a lot of ground when it comes to defense. All in all, that is pretty good look for us. A little bit of motivator, I believe, as well. Does have architect, a little bit more here when it comes to DB, which, if you guys were here last year, we struggled massively trying to recruit DBs for our Kent State series. But all in all, I mean, he looks like a really good option for us. Again, not going to help us out in recruiting, so that might be something we focus more for our OC. I think we got to make an offer here. Again, we've only got 90K to work with, so it's going to be a massive lowball offer here for him. He's probably not going to be too excited for this, but we've got to put something on the table, so we are going to offer up that 50. Again, no one has given him an offer. At least we're the first to introduce ourselves there. Now, we do need to also hire an OC, so let's go check out some OCs. Looking for some scheme fits. It's weird, the defensive coordinators, they don't really give us that scheme fit. Just out of the recommended here, no one of previous experience. That's great. A little bit of some experience here with UMass. He is a pro style, but there is also previous interest for Eastern Michigan, so probably not great for us. We're just going to go to the all here. There's actually some interest from some guys up top here, but they're not going to give us much of any discount with other interest. Option there. Would like to find someone who has at least a little bit of some interest and some experience. Of course, also looking for some pro style as well. So it's really going to narrow things down for us. We're just going to scroll through, see if we can find much. There's not a whole lot of pro style. There is Tim Lester, previously, or actually is still at Iowa. I'm not too sure we can convince him to come over here if he hasn't actually left the school, because he's probably getting paid more over there. What are we looking at here? He is an elite recruiter. I mean, that fits pretty much everything we are looking for. Does also have a little bit of some tactician. The boost here across the offense. A little bit of strategist. Just basically boosting complimentary visits. But when it comes to actual recruiting side of things, that would mean that we could get a quarterback a little bit easier from the transfer portal. That's the only one we have open. We are potentially in the market for a quarterback. Not sure if Scruggs is going to want to return. We'll get to that here shortly. I think might be the best opportunity here for us to put in all of our available budget we have and see if we could possibly land either of these coordinators. Again, I believe they are still at their school. As long as they've got a school over here and the dash lines, I think that means they are still there. You can poach coaches, but how well can you really poach a coach if, you don't really give them a great offer? I don't know, but we're going to kind of let that marinate a little bit as we move on. If they take the job, great. If not, that's honestly fine. We might have to go with just more of that scheme fit for us that's going to be cheaper ultimately, because we're working with an extremely small budget here. It's going to be difficult for us to also try to hire some people or bring in talent as well. So yeah, it looks like they both rejected. That was kind of expected. So back to the hunt we go then. Again, I wish the defense was a little bit better in terms of how they managed the schemes here, because they don't tell us at all what their defensive scheme is. We do have an elite recruiter, DJ Smith. No offers at least a little bit of some initial interest. Again, we would have to lowball. We don't have the money for him. But he seems to be the only one who actually has some availability and some experience. Now, all recruiter here. And would give us the availability to try to bring in linebackers and defensive backs a bit easier in the portal. Linebacker is going to be absolutely massive for us. We're going to be shredded there. About half, if not 3/4 of our linebacking group is graduating, let alone looking to transfer away. Defensive backs, we have some that could look to stay, but we might have to pay them. Again, we don't have a budget for that. So it's going to be a interesting challenge today. DJ Smith looks like he could be one of our better opportunities here. Again, we're going to go with 50. There's really no interest, but we just don't have the money right now. So I'm going to put a very small offer in. Again, I expect he will reject, and we'll just have to keep lowering down our standards until we can find a coach who will decide to come here. Sac State not a big pull right now. Still looking for some pro style. There is one here. Akron already has some interest, though we could look to pay higher. Master Motivator for Max Warner. And it is all Motivator. Interesting blend of talent here. So would give us more of a mental boost, if you will, to our quarterbacks, our receivers and tight ends, and a little bit to our blocking. Plus a little bit of some wear and tear recovery. Even a little bit there to our linebackers, which again is nice because we're going to be thin there. I mean, I feel like this is the best option we're going to get right now. So let's look to make an offer. We've got some extra moolah we could look to send his way. Interesting, it won't let me go past 30. I guess we could only go 10 above their offer. I mean, we might save a little bit of money that way. So if we still have 10 left in the budget, we could go back over then to our DC and offer him a little bit more. Maybe try to get him semi-interested in coming here. I'm going to edit this offer and boost that up as much as we can. Just trying to get something going for us here defensively. Working with a very, very, very small budget today. Nothing else for us to do here in Bowl Week 3 of 4. We will go over the scores of the conference championships, which I think we went over last time as well. Plus, we'll take a look at the playoffs when we get to that point. Something good. We do land the offensive coordinator, whose hair is going through his hat. We don't know. He's magic that way. 2 for 2. And we get some other dude. I don't know who Kevin Salam is. We didn't offer him. Unless DJ Smith changed his name. So who did we just hire? Did our AD go behind our back? Interesting. And it's saying value here 15 for Warner. That's not the offer we put in. We put in a 30. I'm confused, honestly. And instead we bring in a motivator here who has absolutely nothing unlocked. So I guess we ran out of time to hire someone and the CPU did it themselves. That screen is borked. But we do at least get Warner here. So no help when it comes to recruiting. That's a big miss. We do have 50 points to utilize here. We have already unlocked the Portal King for the linemen and the DBs. We do not have enough points here to unlock it for the linebackers. But I do think we need to spin the points here to get us as close as possible to that. And hopefully we get some more coaching points before we reach the actual transfer portal. Fingers crossed. We're going to try to get that done today. That way we can really boost up our defense. Obviously, our offense not getting the love, but those who have been here. Bobby Ellington is a legend on this channel from the Kent State series as a nose tackle. So, of course, we're going to focus on that defense first. Got to keep with the lore. National championship is against number 1 Miami, looking for the perfect season, 16-0. Meanwhile, they face UCLA, number 2 in the country, 14-1. Well, I guess we know who won that game, 45-0. Oh, you got blanked in the Sugar Bowl. And then Miami, by 1 score, beat South Carolina. And that's kind of funny because South Carolina was one of the teams I was considering for our traditional dynasty here. They're not coach mode, but the play every play one. So it's fun to see them at least making a run for it then. All right then. You want to check staff moves here real quick? See if DJ Smith went anywhere. Wonder if he would have went as a DC, probably. DJ Smith fired but didn't go anywhere. So he just decided he'd rather not coach than coach here. Or maybe he actually stayed. No, he stayed at Appalachia State. But then he says fired. So I don't know. I don't know where he went. He either decided not to coach anywhere and is going to coach high school, wherever he's from, or just stayed at App State. Either way, he chose specifically not to come to Sac. On the next week, then, we'll see who our national championship is season 1. Again, we'll check in on those other scores as well. There's a level up. Only worth 25 points, though. I don't know if that's enough. Why did they already X out? We haven't reached National Signing Day yet. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it had an X next to the top 100 class. I'm a bit confused with that. We haven't gotten to the point yet. This is at National Signing Day. We're not at National Signing Day. Okay. Well, not looking good for our athletic director then. So when it says sign a top 100 class, they mean in season. All right. Well, end of the season's here and no perfect season for Miami. They drop it to the Bruins. What am I looking for here? CFP bracket. And that continues the trend, though, on this channel of the West Coast teams dominating. Though Boise State did lose here to South Carolina in the first round. Nebraska loses to BYU. Tech loses to Oregon. And then Notre Dame beat Tennessee behind my head, 38-13. Notre Dame then loses to UCLA. Close game that time. Oklahoma beat Oregon 31-19. Miami beat BYU 24-17. LSU falls to South Carolina 30-27. Miami, obviously, we saw that score, beating South Carolina. The shellacking of the Sooners 45-0 and the Bruins 30-17 to close out the first season. Also, if you're going to see me keep adjusting these, I broke the little nose bit on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, they don't sit right anymore. They just keep falling. So I'm gonna have to keep adjusting that. We were looking for the scores going over the conference championship. And I'm pretty sure we went over this last time, but Sam Houston, they beat Liberty for the C, USA. Boise State did make it to the playoffs. They run over Fresno State, dominating the Pac-12. North Dakota State falls in Season 1 to UNLV 34-11. Miami 37-15 over Louisville. Big 12 goes to Tech 35-28. Close game there against Utah. And then Western Michigan loses by 2 to Eastern Michigan. That, of course, being in the MAC, that was the division we were in. We will be moving today. Make a lot more sense of who we're playing against. It will be either the Mountain West or the Pac-12. We'll get to that whenever we get to that. App State loses 48-14 to Arkansas State for the Sun Belt. Memphis does beat USF 30-19 for the American Conference. SEC does go to OU. We all saw how that ended for them, though, 31-10. And UCLA just gets by Oregon 33-30 and then wins the Natty. That is how Season 1 comes to a close. We went over our stats last time. We're going to look to start actually going over things. And this is the first real big spot here for us. Again, we expected a lot of players to look to transfer. We can sway them here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I was watching Mr. Hurricane's offseason yesterday, last night / this morning, and then actually this morning. I'm not too sure how much I like this. Because in my head, if I see a player whose risk of leaving is absolutely maxed out, they hate it here. Why would they consider staying? Well, money. So I'm toying around with the idea of us basically installing a house rule that if a player is maxed out, we don't try to bring them back at all. If it's a little bit lower, we're talking at least here, right? There's a little bit of some wiggle room, we will say. That wiggle room is the money. That's what I'm thinking is how we perhaps do things here. Let me know your thoughts on that. And we're going to go through all of our roster here. We'll go position by position, but that's my thought process. If they're maxed out, should we really even be able to try to convince them with money? Let me know your thoughts. Meanwhile, every quarterback on roster is looking to leave. I had already pre-planned Conklin leaving, and I did take a look at this whole roster beforehand. I got a list of names. The only quarterback I really wanted to bring back is Isaiah Scruggs. However, he's asking for almost a third of our NIL budget. So we may not have a quarterback. That's how rough this is looking. But as for these guys, again, I am not planning on them coming back. I don't think they played well. I don't think they can produce and train well. Their caps are bad. So, again, Scruggs is the only one I am considering. Let me know your thoughts on if we just don't try to bring anyone back because they show us that they really absolutely hate it here. As for the running backs, Rainey already planned on him staying around, and he also wants to stay around. I would have liked to have Bryant Collins stay around as well. I'm going to actually shrink one of my screens here so I get my list showing. That'll help us out a little bit. Before the running backs, Collins was the only other one I really wanted to bring back. Everyone else, again, I don't think will train well or doesn't fit the scheme we're going for. Collins, I think, does. Him and Rainey being that 1-2 punch, which we saw we really needed last year. But if we were to try to even convince him to stick around, I mean, to get him to a spot where maybe he would even consider us, we're having to overspend by 70 here. Again, I just don't think we have the money to do what we really want to do here. So we have to be very select on a few different guys that we are going to try to pay and bring back. You need to find a fullback. Moses is looking to stick around. Other receivers I was considering are a couple young guys we haven't gotten to see. That is Hardy and either Fesquez or Frescues. Not exactly sure which one is which. Hardy's going to be a lot cheaper for us, and if we give him 15, he will definitely be looking to stick around. Green, and we should be good. We could obviously take it all the way down. We don't have the budget for that. But for Frescues or Fresquez, that's just too much. You know, we would have to pay him probably close to 50, 60 just to get him to try to stick around. 70 even. Not for a 74 overall junior. Although I think I redshirted him, so he would stay a sophomore actually. But I think we could manage Hardy in with this budget. Tight end wise, there was one I was considering, though he is expensive, so it looks like we're going to be restarting on a lot of these position groups. Like, these guys didn't play well enough to be asking for any of this kind of money, but yet they are. Offensive line, there were a couple. It's going to be really expensive too. Frazier was one I was trying to bring around. We just don't have the budget for that. Good news is Hector was already planning to stay around. Cooper was already planning to stay around. Stallworth is cheaper than a lot of these other guys. So if we tried to bring back one of our highest rated offensive linemen, that would cost us 75 of our budget. I think we should at least try to bring back one lineman. Stallworth is more worth it than the freshman, who both are agile, both don't quite fit, but Stallworth does have good power. One edge guy I was looking to keep around is Paloka, but that's going to be so much to try to bring him back. Defensive tackle-wise, there were a few. Chambers, Howard, and Blake. That's just too expensive. We could try to bring back Blake. He's at least a freshman, so he'll be around for a little bit. Be 35. Linebackers we know is going to be rough. I'd like to keep Houston around as well. So to keep him around, we're looking at 75. Previously, he was free. Mike linebacker, I don't think I had anyone listed at Mike. At Will, was considering Walls. Keep him around. 35 there. Again, previously was free, but he's a 64. Is he really going to improve too much? He's a normal dev. I just don't think that's smart. Cornerback. There were several cornerbacks. Nichols, Clem, Taylor, and Wilson. I just don't think we're going to be able to afford any of them. Taylor was the only one who we could maybe afford. So let's try to see if we can at least keep him around. 35, there's the cheapest we could spend to get him into green. We'll try to do that, but it looks like Clem and Nichols both out the door. Because if they're maxed out red, there is no chance, or chance of convincing for them to return is none. So this is just not possible. Free safety, I did have one, Mitchell, and he's pretty expensive. So it looks like he's going to be out the door. He's also a normal dev. Arthian, this was the guy I knew we were going to have to save a good chunk of this budget for because I do want to keep him around. And if we max it out, there is still a chance he leaves. And that means we do not have any to offer Tucker, who would be a senior, even though he does have that impact dev trait looking in the bottom right-hand corner. I just don't think it's a smart idea for us to do that. So that's all of our budget offered. So most of the guys, even on the list I had to try to keep around, are going to look to transfer. Stovall will look to stay around. We can't even afford to keep around our punters. So that's just the budget we've got here. It's not good. We're going to have to probably spend a little bit of money to try to make some extra money for our future budget. Because that's all we can do. Upgrade facilities, that is another thing, or maybe I'm mixing things up. No, that is another thing. But we've got a few seasons to try to do that. I don't think it would be a smart idea right now to get that upgrade. View next season's blueprint. What are we looking at right now? Hire staff, that 180. Facilities sitting at a 0. Recruits, NIL. I feel like that matches what we're trying to do here. We're trying to be a portal program. So we need our, well, I guess, yeah, because the budget's so small, that actually is what it is. It's just we don't have any money to work with here. So we do need to try to increase that next year as much as we can. We're going to have a hard time in the transfer portal. I already know it. We're going to have to try to steal some players late, perhaps. Focus things at the back end. Yeah. We have a total budget of 590. There are players who ask for more than that. Well, that's what we're working with here at Sac State. We didn't make it easy on ourselves, that's for sure. History update here, just showing the national championship. Miami makes it back-to-back years and loses in back-to-back years. Sorry, Miami fans. We do have 35 coach points here, and it might have been 30 points for that final one. Indeed it is. So our linebackers are checked off. If we happen to get any more, we're going to need a large truckload to pull up here if we're going to get anything for our offense. That'll be futures decisions. Though we're pretty much blanked out on everyone. We might be playing a lot of freshmen this year, which are some other house rules I'm going to talk about when we get to that point as well. That is the roster NIL dealt with. We maxed it out. Now we get to see how much that paid off for us. Again, the money we spent is not guaranteed yet. They actually have to decide. As already a couple players on our board are now off our board. I still don't understand the National Signing Day thing. Maybe it'll check green when we actually get to that point. But players leaving. This is going to look rough. Collins, none. Do have a low persuasion chance here with Carthian. We got 2 persuasions. I already know I'm spending one here. Coach Bobby Ellington's first chance to try to keep a player around. Pay him a good chunk of money, too. We will be getting back that money. The freshman star safety is out the door. That's a big blow here for us. Scruggs is not on this list. Most of our other quarterbacks are not on this list. So we will have quarterbacks on our roster. There is unfortunately no chance for us to try to convince Collins to stick around. A lot of receivers out the door, too. I would have liked to keep around Ontario Smith Jr. We saw him kind of step up his play. Landry Burrell got injured, and then we never really got to see him play. Javian Ford is also out the door. Wilson graduates. Coleman graduates. So it looks like actually some of the receivers I was hoping would stay around are actually staying around. And all the tight ends are looking to stay around. That's great news for us. Frazier, though, is looking to leave, unfortunately. Blank is looking to leave, but not the other tackle, so we do keep around our highest-rated offensive lineman. Chambers is leaving. Howard is leaving. The 2 of the guys I was hoping to keep around are out the door. We at least keep one around. And Loka is also out the door. Look pretty solid from the linebacker standpoint, at least. Fortunately, can't keep either Clem or Nichols around. Yeah, so we only had 1 player we could actually try to persuade to stay around. And that was a none. So we don't have a persuasion we could really use. I mean, I guess technically we could try with someone with a none, but it's just not going to happen. And yeah, failed. So, you know, it could have been worse. It could have been. Still not great. On to the next week, and then we'll take a look at what we're dealing with this roster. I hope they fixed it. I don't think they did, where it removes the seniors and everyone who was looking to transfer away rather than keeping them on your roster. But we're already to the transfer portal. We went through that a little bit faster than I thought we would. 35 minutes. Draft results, any surprises here for us? No. So Curtis doesn't make it, nor are Xavier Williams, who had 25 something TFLs and around 15 or so sacks. Doesn't get you drafted. I was hoping they would fix that again, to where what the players do matters more than their ratings, but it seems still it is ratings based. So transfer portal is open already. Here we know we need to take a few guys off our board. Now, I was talking a little bit about some new house rules to introduce to you today. And this is what I'm thinking. Obviously, with the transfer portal, any and everyone is up for us if we could even convince them to come here. But I think we're going to need more than the transfer portal today. So my plan is we could recruit almost any player left over from our state. So if we just take a scroll here, I also need to check to see how many. Now we're locked out a lot of these guys, which is good. So it does look like, at least for most of these 4 stars, they are signed or there's offers. So that's good. I was worried about that bug, but it looks like it's fine. So we could go after some 3 stars. Again, they've got to be from our state, but we could go after anyone left over in high school from our own state to try to help fill in our roster. That's my house rule here that I think we'll do for both this series as well as our UAB series. Just to help try to bring in some other talent, some guys that were overlooked, fill in some gaps. Like Tremaine Randall, we need a fullback. North-South blocker fullback could be an opportunity here for us. But before we get to that point, we got to actually find out what this roster is truly looking like now with all the changes. Really surprised we were able to keep around Scruggs. I don't feel like we gave him a very promising offer, but the 15 NIL is enough to keep him around. So that's good news for us. We'll have to deal with that brand exposure pretty much every year. But we do have some backups at least. I don't think they're promising, but they're at least here. Running back wise, yeah, so it still has the seniors around, which is annoying. They should not be here anymore. Rainey will be our primary back. I think we could potentially need to look for another back. We have a couple different guys. Isaiah Eni is being cut. I'm not having a running back 77 speed. If anything, he's maybe being moved to fullback if we do look to keep him around. But we haven't seen Elias Brown. Do we think he's got the talent, or potential talent at least, to be a rotational running back for us? Caps are actually really good. I wouldn't be against him having some playing time. Good change of direction there. Would it be IQ, ball carrier vision? Could be a little bit better. Decent injury there. He's not much of a bruiser kind of guy. Decent enough hands. Carrying is a little bit low. Again, these will all improve through training. But I don't feel like I'm pressed now to look for a running back. With all the other holes I expect we have, probably again addressing a lot of defense and offensive line. Receiving room. Coleman is graduated, so we do bring back Moses, who was, I think, our top receiver last year. Jace Wilson will be graduating. Shabazz. He's a gadget type. 87 speed here. We don't have good dev traits at receiver. He could get a little bit quicker, but not much. The hands can improve a lot. The route running can improve a lot. But with normal dev, how much are we really going to see a step forward here for the turning senior? Desmond Hardy, I believe, was the one guy I did want to bring. And we also keep the guys whose name I wasn't exactly sure. So we actually do keep around a couple guys who I think could potentially grow into something. Jordan Williams will be graduating. We do keep around Kuntz. I thought he was going to leave, but he decides to stick around. So we don't have as much work to do there. Offensive line-wise, though, massive focus here. We don't have Sufau? Soafua? These names can be all over the place for me. We've got one returning offensive lineman above a 70 overall. So definitely going to focus on the offensive line. Got to focus on the defensive line here too. We do not have a returning end above a 70 overall. I don't believe Ivan Moore Jr. was one who could really develop much either. DTs, we will actually have a fairly decent interior. Will Weber helping lock things down, but then it's just kind of a toss-up. Running a 4-2-5, we do need 2 starting interior linemen, so we probably should look at the portal there. Again, no good dev traits. Linebacker, we do keep around Derek Houston, probably going to be a team captain for us this year. We do only need 2 starting linebackers, but we only have 1 that's above a 70 overall. Only 1 above a 65 overall. So definitely need to focus on some linebackers. Cornerback, we do keep around. No Mulligan's graduating. So Taylor steps in as our highest rated corner. All in all, the group in general is really light, so we've got to dial in these DBs. Silvera, gonna miss him. He's graduated. So DBs across the board are needed. That's the big focus. Offensive line, linebacker, and DB. Now the important question hits. Is anyone interested in transferring to Sac State? My answer is probably not many. I would imagine 3 to 4. It's a lot more than 3 to 4. All right, then. That's good news for us. I'm just going to take a scroll here. I want to see if we got any 3-stars interested. Looks like a whole lot of 2-and-1s. Gonna make this a little bit easier for us, actually. No interest from 3-stars. However, I am curious what we're looking like here for teams inside our own state. Cal, there is one player we could potentially look to go after. However, his NIL is larger than our entire budget, which is 120. So these are going to be some of the guys that we're going to look for come the last week of recruiting, right? We're going to try to swoop in, be like, hey, you can come here, play for $5, and then next year you could transfer away. Give us 1 year. That's kind of what I feel like we're going to be at for the first couple of years. Wish there was an easier way of sorting through all these schools, being honest. We'll just take a scroll. Although this is probably just going to show us some of them, not actually all of them. Because we definitely skipped a lot of letters. We cannot go after Blake, unfortunately. Cannot try to bring him back. The one guy from San Jose State, not interested in coming here. Nor the one guy from Stanford. No one from UCLA, the national champions, want to come here. Probably could have told you that much. There are a couple guys from USC who would consider it. A running back, Riley Wormley. And another running back in Sean. That's a new way of spelling. I haven't seen it spelled that way. Sean Alston. Both East-West playmakers. Potentially, again, these are going to have to be guys we look at later in the portal. Okay. So, again, we know where we got to start. And that's going to be offensive line. It's going to be linebackers. It's going to be DBs. Anyone from Pipeline's interested? Again, we're trying to help ourselves out. Here's some more players that they weren't showing us on that other screen. Fresno State does have a couple guys. We are looking, again, pro style. We're looking at well-rounded, and we're looking for raw strength offensive linemen. So we don't really have that. The guys from Fresno State. In fact, most of these guys aren't. So Pipeline's not going to help us out then. We'll just have to go probably with the 2 stars out the gate. These are the guys that are interested in us. Unfortunately, no offensive tackles are interested in us. On Bentley, more agile. More agile. Raw strength here in Daniel Michelle. Did play a few downs. Not a whole lot. Now, these guys they're all going to be asking for money. Obviously, we don't have it, so we are going to have to lowball all of these guys. We're basically begging for scraps today and seeing if it works. We're going to have to put him on our board. Did I put him on our board? Yes, it did. Okay. Always got to double check. You never know. Might be broke. Miles McVeigh. More option for us with some raw strength. We sort by our actual rank. Not looking for pass protectors. And the reason I'm not doing the search is because last time we were trying to search, it broke everything. So we're trying to take it a little bit easy with that. Right now, we do have a lot of offensive linemen on our board. So we'll need to kind of play around with that a little bit. There is another raw strength guard here. Now, that's also something to consider, right? You know, we don't want to be paying guys who aren't going to be starting. So we have a couple raw strength guys already on the board here in the portal. If anything, now we should be looking more so for well-roundeds. Because our well-roundeds are going to be our tackles. They're going to be our center. That way we get some better pass protection. There's not a whole lot of these well-roundeds. I don't think I've seen a single one yet. Probably because people don't let them walk very easily. Yeah, so not a whole lot there unless we really just double down on some raw strength. But we've got a lot of offensive linemen on our board. We know that's a big need for us. Now I think we need to shift over to some linebackers. And for the 4-2-5, we're looking for some signal callers and some lurkers. I know thumpers do have some coverage, but that's really not what they are best at. They are a little bit more of that blitzer run stopper type. We do have a lurker here, Anthony Polano, Boston College. Toss him on the board. A lurker here, Greg Walker. And then we'll go through too, and we can sort out some guys that we think yay or nay based off of some of their stats and stuff. A couple guys here late. Also, some big things is going to be some deal breakers with them. So neither of these guys really played. Got a couple of lurkers there. Wouldn't mind some signal callers if we could find them. A couple guys who already have some interest, though. That would probably move them up the board a little bit. All lurkers. I feel like we're going to toss these guys on the board, and we're probably going to remove the other outside linebackers just to try to help us out a little bit. Again, we don't have much to work with here whatsoever. We've got 350 hours per week. So we got a pretty good amount of linebackers now on our board. We are in total at 7. We might need even more than that. That's where the high school guys are going to come in there late. Edges were really light on. We need some help there too, but we don't have a single cornerback, I should say, on our board. And it's going to be hard for me to really try to say, oh, we need this position more than these other positions because, frankly, beggars can't be choosers, and we're beggars right now. So we're looking at our board. Guys that are interested in us, at least. And we're going to put the top ones on here. So Jonas Duclona? Georgia Tech. Guy from Oregon. I wouldn't be against that by any means. Aaron Scott Jr. Yeah, we need a lot of these guys. We're going to put at least 3 of them on the board. So Jackson Lowe, Lowe will be the last one we could put on. We do need even more safety. Again, we are absolute beggars today. And we're probably going to have to cut down some of our offensive linemen to make room for some other guys. Receivers, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to cut off 2. Looks like the best option we got from ULM. Box specialist, though. All these guys are box specialists. Again, we're beggars, but don't want to beg for things that aren't great for us. Got 3 coverage specialists. We're going to put Jaden Davis from UConn on the board. Good size there. And now we're going to have to make some tougher decisions for some of these high school guys. So we did bring in Montel Paul. What we know about him is he's a work in progress. We don't know anything about Vi Mafi, but we do know he is a 2-star. And no hours are spent on these guys. Right now, if they've got an offer in, they're a high school guy, no one else is offering, we're obviously not putting any points in on them. But I do think we need to bring in a couple quarterbacks just to get some guys developing. As for these receivers, yeah, we need to create space because we have some massive holes. Unfortunately, we have options on roster for receiver. They just might not be great right now. While we're in first for some of these guys, I think we're going to have to drop off, create room for those defensive ends, because right now I think we have 2 on roster. We'll look to keep Session on here. There is some potential. Maybe not great, but there is some there. And Ojabo, we've been grinding to try to get him in. We don't know much, but again, he's a 2-star. He's from Cal, so that's what a lot of our class is probably going to be, guys just from Cal. And again, this is where we're going to have to make some more tough decisions. We've got a lot of linemen on our board. We're looking at Inechukwu, yeah. That's my best guess. From Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's a lot of mid here, which means he's probably not going to be great. No, we're not leaving, but he is. For Oscar Ehlers, there is that run block power that's at least at the 72. Obviously, I think these guys would be better. Though Ehlers is a well-rounded, so he's an actual tackle. Meanwhile, these guys are guards. For Warren Agood, close to the top 3 there. Multiple things here in the 70s. We should look to keep a guy like that around. We're going to go deliver all the points around after we try to shape up this board here. 54 awareness, that's rough. Though the finesse looks actually good there as a well-rounded. Impact is at 70. I think that could be another solid guy. We take a look at Burt. Well-rounded 75 with a run block, pass block 74. I mean, you got to keep that guy around. Both of these guys are tackles. Mitch Schultz. We're in first for him, a 2-star. Though Chanticleer's coming in here for him. They may or may not pull out after the first week for that, so we will leave him on the board. More raw strength, so he is an interior guy. All 3 of these guys are outside guys. We don't know anything about Subtle. I think we got to go with what we know. And for Mayweather, we don't know as much, and some of the things we do know, they're not good. So we're going to remove him from the board. Center, there's some 70s. Hard to pull 70s off the board. Bryce. There's a 73 finesse there. Pass block power does look good. Might be more of a pure tackle, honestly. Wouldn't mind keeping both. I mean, we do still need a lot of offensive linemen in general. There aren't enough transfer guys to fill in the gaps we need, so we at least opened up a few more spots on the board. Let's go back to the portal. We got to look for some defensive ends because we need 6. We've got 3 on the board right now. And we're going to check out the 2. We'll come back to some 3s later. Your power is not great. I mean, that's the guy you ship down inside. Mario Alexander. 6'5", 317 listed as an edge rush. Gotta be joking. Playing style, though, looks good for him. Didn't record anything. He would be a senior. We could use a starting DT. Again, we talked about that earlier. Jay Crabble, speed rusher. Good with that. And he actually played 4 sacks. Yeah, please do come here from Florida Atlantic. Another man with some interest here is Logan Thomas, another speed rusher. Notre Dame, please be my guest. One more spot available. We actually have the perfect amount of offensive linemen that we need with the 2 guys at center that we technically don't. Listed them at guard. Technically, we don't need any tight ends. I would like a fullback. We are still light at linebacker and safety. Go back over to safeties. We added 1 guy, and I know there were a couple more coverage guys. 1 pick here for Davis. That's nice. Decent size between these 2. No pipeline. We're going to go with the coverage specialist, though. And that's our board full for now. I think now we start rolling with some points. We've got 350, so everyone on the board could get 10 points. But again, if they're high school, I'm not looking to give them anything right now. So we're going to focus on the transfers. And we've got 4 transfers. Let's do some quick math. And by we, let's let Google do that. If I can even think of the word calculator. All right, we got 350 total points. We've got 13 players that we are looking to bring in the transfer portal. Meaning we could give everyone at least 25 points, and then with the leftover, we can just spread those about. So let's start with that then. We are not scouting. We cannot afford to scout. Basically, we don't have a scout hired. That's the background lore here. And I've found when you get inside the top 5, that is when it's a good opportunity for you to put in an offer. So hopefully with these guys, we'll see ourselves jump in front by a good bit. And then when we put in a really bad offer, they don't hopefully hate us. That's at least the hope. And again, we'll go after some leftovers in that final week. Just got to be the first on their board, which means we might look to put off even more of the high school guys. Again, all depends on how things look for us out the gate with these transfers. Because for a lot of these guys, we're kind of introducing ourselves. For some, luckily, there are guys that match our needs that were already interested in us. And last one here for us, Daniel Michelle. That leaves us 25 more points. So 5 players, I'd say, are going to get some more points. For the shake there, need the desk. I think we need to focus on some of these DBs and these linebackers because that's the weakest group here for us. And it's been the hardest for me to recruit, especially DBs. Linebackers we did great at last year with Kent State. But DBs, I could just not get to commit to our school. So do we then focus? I think we focus entirely in the DB section, actually. Sorry, linebackers, but I feel like it's easier to find some better linebackers than finding good DBs. So that's where our point spread's going to be here for week 1. Again, focusing entirely right now on the transfers. If the high school guys want to join, be our guest. On to the next week. Hoping for some good news for Coach Bobby Ellington and Sac State. Not sure if the lack of information there is good or bad. Probably bad. All right. Look for an update then. Just scrolling through here, trying to see if anyone is coming in, and there's a offer for a visit as well. We're going to pull off the high school guy, unfortunately. I don't have the excess money and time to be going after our high school guys. We also technically need to put in a lot of offers here, but again, I'm not trying to offer anyone until we know we have to rely on these 1-stars. Top of the board for Daniel Michelle, right tackle, would probably be a guard. Top of the board as well for Miles McVay. By the looks of it, unrelated to Rams head coach. Top of the board here for Bibbs. And we fall here for Max Fitzgerald, unfortunately. Chanticleer is once again proving to be a problem for us. So we don't have the excess. So we've got to make tough decisions, and these tough decisions are backing out of players, even at positions that I know we need. Got to do the same here for Jonas DeClona. Good news is we are top of the board for Aaron Scott Jr. Georgia State, you're not helping me here. You're really not. Top of the board for Davis. Top of the board for Alexander, Vrabel, Thomas, and Brown. So we've got some more points. Back to the portal we go. We dropped off a couple corners. We know we need to go back to the corners. Linebacker probably as well. Any state. I mean, a corner. What are we looking at here? If there's a 4-star who hasn't been offered, like, I will swoop in. We don't have the money for him, but I will swoop, right? No one going after Brent Gordon Jr. after 1 week. He's from Louisiana. So, I mean, maybe easier to overlook. 5 interceptions the last year. Yeah, you're on my board. Any more guys going without notice? There is another field guy here, Jonte Gilbert. He's from Georgia. Didn't look like he played like he was a freshman, but even a freshman would probably still be a higher overall than what we're working with. Now is when I'm going to start looking at some other guys. Obviously, you could tell that for week 1, we're putting guys on our board who definitely had interest, you know, guys who we could probably more easily pick up. Now we're looking at the guys slipping through. Justin Williams, a lurker linebacker, would be a senior. Played around a little bit last year. Stats don't look too bad there. We have room for one more. Still have a couple safeties on the board. We did drop an offensive lineman off. And we have to focus more so on our needs right now. We've got starting running backs, so we're feeling good there. We didn't look at the quarterback market, though. You know, we brought back Scruggs, but if there's someone else who's just sitting there. There are some 3-stars. Dylan Raiola. Want to bring in the Patrick Mahomes wannabe? No offers. He didn't play last year, that's right. He was sitting behind. He was backup at Oregon. Mini Coochie? I don't know who would name their kid that, but I mean, the stats don't look awful. Pass completion's not great. Does have an offer, though, for Rutgers. So we're not in on that one, then. Austin Simmons. Stats, again, don't look bad. Real Boley. -17 rushing yards. Eli Holstein, Virginia. There's a lot of quarterbacks. I think this is maybe something we go to later. We got to focus on the needs first. But that is interesting. There's a quarterback you guys want us to go at. Let me know in the chat. But we got to dial in this cornerback room, these linebackers. And we're still a little bit light at the linebacker spot. Elijah Groves, another lurker. Had a few picks last year. Put him on a board. Let's see if 25 points is enough here for these guys. I think there were a couple linebackers, if I'm not mistaken. Groves. I feel like there was another one, but we won't have points for 25 there. We only have points for 10 here. And then we're going to go look for full update. I think we did. Pretty sure we already looked at the update. Yeah, we looked at the update. So, again, doing about as much as we can here with these guys. We get them inside the top 5. We'll look to start dialing in, hopefully, some good soft sells. We don't have the points for the hard sells. We'll just keep grinding with that then for now. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Halfway through off-season recruiting. What can we do here with no money? Well, we are out here on Justin Williams. There goes another linebacker. Barely holding on to our job right now, apparently, too. All right. Look for another update here. How are we looking with these guys? Again, trying to keep around some high schoolers where we can. There are essential backup plans. All right, still in first here for Michelle. Just not quite there yet to the top 5. That is troublesome. Another linebacker that may be disappearing for us as Air Force coming in hard here for Jelani Bibbs. I mean, we can't put any extra there, and they made up a lot of ground. I have a feeling they'll jump us next time. We would have to take off points to put in an offer that may save us. Those are decisions we may have to start making. Again, we only have to be in first place for these guys. So it was one of the new linebackers. It was the 10-point linebacker. That makes sense. And I don't think we're going to get Groves now. South Carolina, BYU swoop in. So we are now struggling with those linebackers. Back to the portal. Again, we're just trying to collect. And I don't want to call them scraps because I hope they are actually end up being good players for us, but got to find something here. Need some guys who don't have offers. There is a 3-star linebacker here. Thumper, though. Carson Crawford. Again, beggars can't be choosers, but we'll see what the other options are. Like a lot of thumpers right now. Yeah, so if we're gonna get any 3-stars, they're gonna have to be some thumpers. Help ourselves out a little bit. No offers, please. All right. So, Thumper here, freshman. Looks like he actually played a little bit, so he may not be redshirted. A lot of these guys are freshmen, actually. Now, Crawford, I believe, was the higher rated, so we're going to toss him on the board. Looks like he did play little. Leave Graham. But Junius, higher rated. So we're going to put those two on the board. That is the board once again full. And we might have to start playing around with some of these points, get some offers out there, and trying to lock these guys down for the future. Though I did say I prefer them to be inside the top 5 before I make those. That might be next week. Would be the final week, too. So for Crawford, we're going to give him the 25. Nias or Junius, we're going to give him the 10. Again, for a lot of these guys, we're the only ones putting in those offers. As for Jelani Bibbs, another linebacker. He's below the other guys, so it would probably make more sense right now to pull him off. So that's what we're going to do. Got room for one more. And we only have 2 starting spots for linebackers. We got a couple linebackers on the board we're hoping to get. 3 corners on the board. That's their starting cornerbacks. A couple safeties, if I'm not mistaken, I put on from the portal. So that should be the starters there. Because I'm not trying to overpay. You know, I don't want to pay guys they're not going to play. We have 120 points to give our starters. We have 22 starting players. We also don't currently have a punter or a fullback. We do need to look for that. We do have 3 different guys here, but one was a DT. That covers us then for a transfer DT. We did already get Paul Ebikadi. He's another guy who I think could potential. At least I hope has good potential. He was a 2-star for us. Was our highest rated high school player. As for the offensive line, we should probably check out some more offensive linemen. See if anyone fell. Because we got 2 guys to start at guard. We have a tackle returning. We do not have a starting center or a other side starting tackle. So if we could find a well-rounded fall-in lineman, that would probably be the best. It looks like everyone else is going after linemen too. Yeah, gotta get down to 2 stars to find any lineman. At least at tackle. And at guard. There is a 3-star center, but he's agile. That doesn't fit our scheme. All right, then. Anyone with... No, not sort there. No offers, please. Wish you could sort in multiple facets. Like, I want to see multiple offers, but also of those who don't have offers, who's ranked highest? That's what I want to see. There actually are a lot of guys. It's just the deal breakers. They're just so bad for us right now. There are a lot of guys available. We just can't get to them. More agile types. I mean, again, beggars can't be choosers, but it's not looking extremely promising. Check back in on these quarterbacks here. Assuming they still don't have any offers. No. Well, what are we thinking? Dylan Raiola? Would be a senior quarterback. Give us 1 year, some high-end play. Let Scruggs maybe develop a little bit. We obviously can't pay the guy. I'm going to put him on the board. Let's see if we can get ourselves a big upgrade at QB. And if we play better, we hopefully get some better NIL budgets for future years. So this is been money to make money kind of a move right here. All right, we go to our final week then, and this is where we're going to have to make some big decisions. Hopefully we could get back some of our points by putting in some good soft sells. Fingers crossed. Off to week 4 we go. And this is also a spot where we could look to drop off some 1-stars. We do have a verbal commit, though, for center 1-star Enrique Price. Looking mostly good here, but there goes a corner. Not what I wanted to see this week. All right, final week then for off-season recruiting. And I probably will look to drop off a lot of these 1-stars to help take a look at some other options at high school. Again, we're going to look at all California players, 3 stars who are still available. As for our transfer guys, you know, it's not a great pitch, but we do need to take some points off here. Good news, no one else has swooped in. Wish we had a 20-point offer that we could put in there, but I'm not soft selling for such bad pitches. We are going to look to offer a scholarship. We won't really be able to sway very disinterested. See, this is the hard part right now, right? We can't really offer much. In my calculator back here. And all these guys are going to expect at least something. So we got 120 points, 22 starters, and we could pay them all at least 5. So that's just the offers we have because we're broke. Feedback is very disinterested. I'm sorry, Daniel, but this is all we've got. Hopefully that doesn't have a negative effect and like kicks us off or anything like that. These guys, at least out the gate, they're interested, but I just don't have it. We don't have it. Not a good soft sell here either, so we'll have to go with a 15. But we can offer you a scholarship and $5. And we're just going to rinse and repeat all of these. Might have a decent soft sell. I wonder, do they have the recruiting calculator updated? I'm definitely misspelling everything I'm typing right now. That's for sure. All right, what are we looking at here? An A+, a C, and a D+. They say hard sell that. And for those wondering what I'm talking about, if you can Google it, College Football 27 recruiting calculator, or you could go to collegefootball.gg. They got a calculator there that'll tell you what to do. So let's look then for the soft sell here. You think with how much time I've spent in these games, I would know exactly what pitch does what, but nope. Locked in. Let's go with a soft sell there. Now, he actually doesn't want anything, so if we could save some money, we could offer some better deals elsewhere. So if I could save that money, we're going to do that. I said earlier, all these guys expect money. Not that guy. That's my favorite guy. Aaron Scott Jr. What are we looking at here? That's definitely a soft sell. We've been giving you 30. Is this the guy that we dropped back on? No, we're still looking mighty good here. So that's great news for us. I don't need no other school, though, to pop in here late. You could get out of here with that. Because all I got is $5. That should have been on the thumbnail. Trying to bring guys in for $5. Pitch here. There's the F. We're still going to try that soft sell for Jaden Davis. No one else was interested, so that's great news for us. We'll soft sell it. Plus give him $5. And that's what he expects. That's great news for us. I'm glad we meet his expectations. Mario Alexander, good enough looking to me for a soft sell. I do like that I'm seeing a little bit more variety, though, in the pitches. I feel like last year, every class, it was like everyone was kind of the same three. Jay Crabble. Not too sold here on this soft sell. We're looking at a A, D, and an F. They say send the house. So, in that case, obviously we don't have the funds to send the house. We will DM you. We'll search you up on social media. And we'll give you $5. Very disinterested. I get it. We need to take him off the board here first. All right. Logan Thomas looking good. Feel like that's a good enough one for a soft sell. That's what we're looking for right there. Again, a different one. Give him his $5. You could ask for more later. We probably won't give it to you. Just give me 1 year. Give me 1 year of good play. That should be a soft sell. A new one then for us. We give him his $5? No, we didn't. Got to give him his $5. Wait, no, he doesn't want dollars? Better. Love you. Devin Brown, starter immediately. Gilbert, now we move up to 6. No one else, though, has offered. And I feel like that should be decent enough. We'll go with a soft sell. I like that we got that information, though, quickly. We are just outside the top 5. Are you kidding me? I just said that, though. How did I not realize that? Well, buddy, we're going to have to give you even less here. And we're going to give you $5 of the 265 you were expecting. Sorry. You can try to walk on elsewhere and still get nothing, or you could come here. We are not even inside the top 10 there, or at least on the board. We are at 10. We're going to have to remove Crawford. We're going to have to remove Janias. And we are locked out here for your... What do you mean you wouldn't have playing time? You think you're worse than Scruggs? Well, that tells me everything I need to know there about you then. Okay, so that's 31 on the board. We still have $120 in hours. We got 10 scholarships we could offer. And I think we're going to start removing some 1-stars. Or we should find if we have replacements probably first. That would maybe be a smarter move then for us. Okay, so needs we have probably could use with some more corner. And again, we're just looking at who's falling. We're looking to steal some guys here late by offering them $5. No offer has been given to Kai Bates, field type. That does fit what we're looking to do. Did get an interception last year. Of those around here, he's the only one who's actually got some playing time, some experience. So let's toss him on the board. That should give us our starters there. We are good at corner. Linebacker, do we still have 2 on there? Because again, I'm not trying to overpay right now. The only ones I want to be paying are those that are playing. And we do need one more linebacker. What do we got here? I know we checked this earlier. It was a bunch of thumperoonies. No offer for a lurker, actually. And Quamon Gates, freshman from Texas Tech. They had a good season. Put him on the board. We'll also check out outside linebacker. I mean, he was a 1,000 guy. Miles Graham does have an offer. Crawford didn't really like us, has an offer already. Nias. Do they say he still doesn't have an offer? Because if he doesn't have an offer, we'll still go after him. Little bit better, but he is the thumper. I mean, what really is the difference between 906 versus, what was it, 1,002? 1,022. I was almost there. I mean, what's really the difference in overall, right? They're both still 3 stars. We're going to go after Gates. He fits the archetype. Again, wouldn't mind finding a potential quarterback. They say we need 3. We got 2 already. No offer here for Austin Simmons. Pretty good ratio in terms of touchdowns to interceptions. Played at Missouri. Aiden Creel, your runner, no thank you. Foley, not as good of a ratio. Holstein, decent ratio there. Better pass completion percentage. Alberto Mendoza, isn't that the brother of Fernando Mendoza? Right? Or am I wrong there? Either way, the ratio is bad. We're not going there. Neubauer didn't play. Play. $31, 7, and 58. 36, 10, 66. What are we feeling here? Junior would be turning into a senior. And junior would be turning into a senior. Do we have pipelines on either of these guys? No. I'm leaning towards Holstein. We're going to put him on the board. If you guys disagree, let me know. Okay, any other transfer spots we think we need? I wouldn't be against finding a receiver to pair with Moses. If there's anyone good on the board. Here we go. We got Ian Mason, Akron. Over 1,000 yards last year, 4 drops on 74 catches. No offers. Elusive route runner. Really small, though. I mean, for Sac State, it's not like we're a big school at this point anyway. Potential there is a 3-star. We didn't look at any of the tight ends. We don't need 4 tight ends. I don't know what that's talking about. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 on roster. Dante Bachei. Vertical threat, though, doesn't match what we're trying to do around here. Maine, Purcell, physical route runner. Could match a little bit more what we're looking to do around here. Did play at Cal. However, he didn't really play at Cal. So would you guys rather a tight end? Would you rather a receiver? There is Christian McKintrush. Didn't play. Just glossing over the board here. We already checked all the linemen. Didn't seem promising. I think we need to check. We don't need a kicker. Our kicker returned. But we do need a punter. We do need a fullback. We're going to check high school guys for that. I mean, all in all, I feel like we got a lot of good potential here. With these transfers, if anything, I'm thinking maybe an extra corner. If there's someone available who doesn't have an offer. Young guy here, Aiden Anding. Didn't play last year from LSU. Tossing that guy on the board. Yeah, we're going to add a 4-star. All right, now we need to start thinning out some of these high school guys. I wish there was a way of sorting them, like taking out the transfers from these. I mean, that's really bad route running. We could save ourselves a scholarship here, too. I think Session's got to go. If anything, Ojabo should probably get that scholarship offer. Oh. If we don't give them their offer, though, they may not come. So we should give him an offer, at least. Obviously, we're giving him no money. Make sure... Yeah, we got offers there. Obviously, we need to put some points in here on these new guys that we brought in, which might be a bit more important to do as we try to steal some guys here late. There is an offer on the board, though, for Michigan State, so we didn't check that well enough for Bates. So we're going to remove Bates. And, in fact, we might just not put another transfer on the board because we need some extra points, I think, to spread elsewhere. Let's go ahead and put 10 on here for Gates. Give him a offer of $5. Sorry, bud, we don't have money. Holstein as well. We're going to put in 5. We're going to give him an offer of $5. If they decide to come play here, great. If they decide to just not play college ball, that's on them. Another 10 in there. Another $5 given. And that'll be at least an offer then for all of the transfers and some points going their way. Now we've got 70 hours to ensure we've got an offer out there for all of the high school guys we really want to bring in. And then look at even more guys to try to steal. All these guys do have offers. I know we need to build up depth, so for the line, I'm perfectly fine keeping these guys on the board. Especially with how much we were getting injured last year, I know we need some depth. You have the verbal commit there for Enrique Price. That's good. No offer in here for Joe Dell, though, but I think we should. No money for you. All right. Jamerson Hay. I know we need depth here, but can he really do anything we need? I have a feeling not really. So we're going to remove him. We already have an offer out there for Kenyon. Honestly, though, I feel like we might need to pull that offer. I don't think he's going to do much. So we're going to look at see if we could steal some D linemen here late. Gaskin, I mean, the hit power there is good. The speed is good, but the moves seem pretty raw. Not very smart. We'll keep him on there for now. Rasheem Poe. Really slow. Potential for some decent block shedding and strength. And that's what we need for some guys inside. However, he's only 274. Be a 3-tech at best. And we are down here. Hey, make my day easier. I'll take you off. We also got Epicady. Devin Vildor. We are in front here for this 1-star linebacker. Speed looks like it could be decent. Coverage ratings, again, decent. We're looking at a 1-star here, so we got to keep that in mind, right? There's some decency. So let's give him scholarship. We need depth. We don't have it. No, you're not getting money. What am I doing? You don't get the $5. Teddy Kalu. Mediocre looking. We're going to remove him. We did already put an offer in here for Madrid. Speed looks really good there. Betting on some athleticism from a lurker. Maybe he could get into some passing windows with that. Gary Cantrell. That zone was intriguing. The speed, awareness, not so much. We've got some young other linebackers coming in, hopefully in the portal. But we do need the depth. I think we already have given him the offer. So we'll keep him on there. 0 young corners. Again, that's something we might look to add in the high schools guys here late. We do have 6 spots open. We do still need a kicker. We do need a punter. And we need a fullback. So show me anybody here. I want to keep an eye on guys who don't have offers. That is Josh Coolidge. Our punter. Sure. Fullback. What are we looking at here? People will be offering a lot of fullbacks, apparently. No offer, but we're blocked out here because of playing style. Down to 2 stars if we are to look for a fullback. Other option, there is maybe someone on a roster we currently have that could move to fullback. That's probably a smarter idea here for us. For receivers, not necessarily looking for receivers, though if there was someone high that fell, by all means, I mean, we would look. I think I said earlier we're just looking at California. I think we're going to change that to, at this point, anyone available who does not have an offer. Physical route runner, Kasim Cutler. And other 4 stars have been given offers, so I'm okay adding 4 stars at this point because it doesn't look like it's as broken as it was on release. Wouldn't mind finding a tight end if there's a good one available. I don't like that it's broken in the fact that it just keeps you down the line. Like, go back to the top. If I switch to a new position, go back to the top. And then I'll go back down. No offer in here for a physical route runner and DeMarcus Tom. That does fit. An athlete too, so probably will have some good athleticism. Playing time, it's all open. I'll add him to the board. 3 more spots open on a roster, or on the board at least. Any good linemen just sitting around needing some playing time? Doesn't seem like, at least the ones that don't have offers, they don't want to come here. It's anonymous with these offensive linemen, it seems like, across the board. They don't want to come play for Bobby Ellington, Sac State. 4-star available, well-rounded. Welcome not to the board. You've got 2 offers. It baited me, game. I don't like it. 1 offer here for Iowa. We don't have that availability to compete. And still use some more edgemen. We're really trying to min-max this first off season. 4-star, no offer, pure power though. So not much of an actual rusher. There is a 3-star who does have some offers, so we're going to go with it still because he's a 4-star. Josefa Okung. Doesn't really look like a Josefa Okung. From Springdale, Arkansas. We're trying to bring people in from all over the country. Again, beggars can't be choosers. And it didn't look like there was any DTs then for us. We've got 2 more spots. 2 more spots. Obviously, we know linebacker is a big need for us. Doesn't look like there's any good 4 stars or 3 stars at the top. There is a 3-star, 2 offers, though. Doesn't look like linebacker's it for us. What about corner? Also double-check athletes, too. Yeah, nothing very promising there. 3 safeties. Come on, we got 2 spots available. I don't have 2 stars. No, thank you. That's where we were all year long. Nothing at free. Doesn't look like anything good at strong here either. All right, show me some athletes. Any athletes not getting any offers that are decent? Oh, okay. Did we check other quarterbacks? That might mess up our pursuit of the transfer, though. 3-star here, dual threat. Stephen Parker. Played with a guy named Stephen Parker. He was a safety, though. I think he played a little bit of some receiver. There are some running backs. Backfield threat. Backfield threat. Not exactly a scheme fit. Contact seeker, potentially. I'll add you to the board. One last spot remaining. Where do we really need some help? Well, we checked all the defense and there wasn't anyone left. So we're looking at offense then. Any more tight end? Wouldn't mind turning that group over. Okay. We already are targeting him. Another option, another physical route runner. Athlete too. Okay. That's our board. Absolutely full. We've got 60 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys added. We're obviously going to need to come in here, offer them all a scholarship. You're not getting paid, though. You're a punter. Come on now. Again, this is, you guys didn't have offers. This is a come here. Essentially, this is like an NFL prove it deal. This is a 1-year offer. Come to Sac State, show what you're worth. You could leave next year and go get your money. And you have a possibility of starting as a true freshman. We already did that with several guys last year. We'll continue to do it. And then again, with some leftover points that we may have in the budget, we then may look to actually give some people some more money at some important positions, probably like corner, maybe linebacker as well. And for those who are getting that, it will strictly be transfers. Okay, so that leaves us 30 points. So everyone here is going to get 5. If we are the only one to offer them, if it's like 26 and only offer, they might join us late, but they will still join us. Absolutely min-maxing things here as much as we possibly can. All right, then. So that leaves us 70 remaining points to try to sway perhaps a little bit more. Secure the bag, if you will. Now, we don't have competition, so is it worth trying to save this to spend elsewhere? I think that may be actually more important here for us because, again, there's no competition right now. Competition could show up. Because, again, we're not the only ones doing things here. But, again, there's no competition for these guys. I think with the budget what it is, we sit. Maybe it's a wrong idea, but we got to deal with some walk-ons. We got to deal with some walk-ons. We're looking to bring in 35 players here. Everyone on our board, we are the only one to give them an offer. So we're going to cross our fingers. We're going to knock on wood. And we're going to sim to the next week and hope big. Here we go. Year one's recruiting is in the books. Now we're looking for it all to pay off. We do bring in a 1-star high school player. Linebacker, good. We need some depth. Another linebacker for depth. Even more. I'm loving it. Safety, 2-star, potential to start, honestly, at this point. We do bring in Vi Mafi. So a quarterback is added. We do bring in Ojabo. We're just going through high school guys right now. Clint Suttle. Tavares Burt, more offensive line depth. Agood is in from Spokane, Washington. And Ehlers from Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. Joe Dell, more depth at center. Enrique Gaskin. Hashim Poe. Von Tagaloa Lee. More linebackers. That was a transfer, I believe. Kevin Brown, safety. Logan Thomas, edge. Aaron Scott Jr., that I know was a transfer. That's all they're showing us. We better get more than that. Are you kidding me with these? Big schools swooped in at the end? I'm hoping that that's them saying they're going to try to walk on and that offers didn't come in. It might have been the $5. It might have been the $5. National Signing Day. And it still has it X'd out. I think that's a little bit broken. All right. See the damage. We brought in a lot of high school guys, but I need to know with these transfers. And yeah, some other guys came in, though no offer there. So we still might get Michelle later. We still might get McVeigh later. No offer here either for Jamario Alexander. So I'm hoping these guys are joining later because I'm not seeing any offers given, even for Crabble. Dante Gilbert, maybe Michigan, but no offers. Yeah, because it shows here for Gates, offers. So we may still get those other guys just later in the offseason. Holstein just decided he may not play ball. So we may not be getting an upgrade at quarterback. Anding, we will not be getting. He got an offer from Iowa. No offers here, though, for these guys. They may just not play. Maybe we'll get some of them late. Fingers crossed. So mixed here. There's a lot of guys who could come late. But we're not sure. We're just simply not sure. At least for the class we've 100% brought in, we finish outside the top 100. So that is definitely an X here for us. We finish 121. Again, it could be better. We could bring in some more guys, but we did not accomplish the goal from this point. Now, if you give me that red X, I agree. We did not have a top 100 class come this point in time. Again, we will also be moving to the Mountain West or the Pac-12. We would have had the worst recruiting class in the Mountain West. Pac-12, still the worst. Again, let me know your thoughts. Which conference, Pac-12 or Mountain West? I mean, look at that NIL budget they're working with. How does UNLV have all that money? We were with the MAC, and we weren't the worst in the MAC, but we spent a whopping 50. Again, that could be higher if some other guys decide to join late. So very mixed, but let's go to position changes, and let's try to get ourselves organized, at least from what we can. Isaiah Scruggs right now is the highest overall, and it looks like these new guys are definitely going to have to redshirt. They are not ready. I might just, I don't know if we can, but Paul just may be straight up cut. That's a very low overall. This is the guy I was considering moving to fullback. He's listed East-West playmaker, but he's got 77 speed. 40 overall fullback. I mean, it's not great. We may move a tight end, maybe. But no position changes there. Ojabo, really? Is a 59 overall? That's unfortunate. It is a star dev, though. What were the devs of our other quarterbacks? Just normal. That's unfortunate. You know, house rules. You know, we're making this difficult for ourselves, but at least Ojabo was our first non-normal dev at receiver. Tight end, we don't bring in anyone super slow. Gritty possession at 6'2", 215. You can play some fullback. You're even better there. Keelan Sutton, there you go. Position change. And hopefully we bring in a couple other tight ends that just didn't decide previously. Now, I would like to sort these guys out based off of where they should be. So, agile guys, they aren't scheme fits, so I'd be more comfortable moving them around. But yeah, you can't pass block at all, so you're definitely staying down inside wherever you could get some help. All right, Richard McVay, we do bring him in. He was a transfer, right? Only a 63 overall. That is cheeks, to say it nicely. And we'll keep both of these guys on the outside, though raw strength is supposed to be on the inside, so we'll kick him down. We'll see what we're looking like when we get everyone resorted, and maybe we'll have to move some guys back over to tackle. But for now, that's what we're working with. Left guard, we got any well-roundeds? We do. There's Burt, you're going out to tackle. You do go up in overall, which is great because you were 55 before. Now, center, I don't think we could really pick and choose all too much because they're just all very low overall. Pass protectors, if we got you on a roster, you're going out to left tackle. Raw strength, well-rounded, well-rounded. I can't move Hector out of this spot because he's the only one who really can play Season 1 here. Well-rounded. You could go out to right tackle. Again, going up in overall. And then at right tackle, we do have Stallworth who will stay there. Subtle, you can move down to guard. You will drop one overall, though. We're going to need a massive training boost, because this line is looking. Again, hoping that some more transfers come in late. Moore can stay there as a speed rusher. That means we didn't land, at least for right now, that big old edge rusher who's actually a DT. Do need to even these out a little bit. Technically, I do want my speed rushers at right. So they're all we have are speed rushers. So beggars can't be choosers then. Gaskins, you're shifting over. We did not fill, again, at least at this point, as much as we needed to. Logan Thomas, you're going to have to save the day. DTs, I mean, these guys aren't fast enough to shift outside. We got one Sam linebacker, listed thumper, perfect. All lurkers here at Mike. Walls, technically as a thumper, I would want you out at Sam. We're just going to get this roster organized. We're light at some spots, we're light at some other spots. It's just what happens. We gambled there with the offseason, trying to min-max, and maybe we shouldn't have. We're going to move Caden Reynolds, though, out to Will, because he's going to be more likely to start. So that at least is 2 at each spot, and we'll have 3 with some really low overalls at Will. Cornerback, we currently only have 4 on roster. Again, hopefully more join later. Aaron Scott is at least a star dev, and he's a playable overall. I think he's higher than anyone else we had at that position last year. Box specialist should not be playing at free. You are strong. More box specialists. I think they were already on roster. Yeah. Warren, change over there. You go up massively. Hybrid can stay at free. We just don't have the depth to do anything other than that. Though Jaden Davis, yeah, you're starting at free. Now we got a true roaming safety, perhaps. Another coverage specialist, Warren Smith. So interesting, they move over here and then they become coverage specialists. We go back over here. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Kicker, Stovall, punter. We got a walk-on here, Jay Brockhouse. Brockhouse. No, it's got at least a little bit of a leg. No athletes. And some of the guys we were trying to bring in were athletes. So I don't know how that would work then if they join late. Fingers crossed they do, though. Massively fingers crossed. In fact, do we have that in a reaction? No, we don't. Leave fingers crossed emoji in the chat here, because we're going to need it. Manage blueprint. Is there anything I actually really need to do here? Doesn't seem like it. All right. Hopefully some more players join late. Let's move on to the next stage then. Continue getting some upgrades for us. We're barely holding on to our job right now. We're going to need to upgrade that facility sooner rather than later. Though some wins when the season gets underway may help us out. Dev trait upgrade. That's what we want to see for Crabble. He was one that said he wasn't coming here. So we got Crabble. So we should have some more players now in. Which means, did they now come in before training results so they do actually upgrade? Because that was the caveat before. Like, if they show up late, they didn't train. So you didn't get the upgrade. Tell me something good here. We've got a couple guys up in the 80s, all on defense. In fact, a lot of our top guys are on defense. We'll go position by position, and Scruggs does get a +3. However, I don't see that other quarterback who just decided not to play. Throw power does improve. Overall, I mean, a lot of good +2s there. It looks like it's going to be Scruggs' season to play. Now, if we're looking at his competition, you have better awareness here with Zion McKinney. That name seems new. I don't remember this guy. You got a +6. Maybe he was our depth guy? Either way, okay, let's take another look here. Who's going to be the true backup? Well, the accuracy's outside the deep, and we're not looking to throw deep. Is better with McKinney, so I think McKinney will be our backup quarterback. Arm is a little bit weaker, but the awareness is the best. Overall wise, I mean, these guys are close, so we may have some quarterback competition. I need play action to be better, because that's what a lot of this is based off of. For the pro-style passing game. We got competition now. Scruggs and McKinney. Hopefully we get a good running game going. Elias Brown does move up 2. Rainey only 1. I expected more from him. With that impact dev trade, and he actually had a good season last year. No boost to any sort of speed or acceleration. Again, awareness is better with Brown. Carrying slightly better with Rainey. +6 to ball carrier vision for Brown. Break tackle, though, does go to Rainey. Overall, better moves, I would say. We're still going to get a good rotation here. Brown is going to be the third down back, it seems. His catching is better. Fullback here does get the boost +2. Good news here for Sutton. +3 for Moses. Was hoping for more. Hardy, though, does get that +7, +9 for Frescues. I'll go with Frescues, which is massive. Those were 2 guys I was really wanting to keep around. They got speed boosts, too. That's good news for us. Now, these receivers don't really match. the scheme, but we can't be beggars right now. So at least we've got some good speed out there. Gonna have to try to utilize that as much as we can. Moses is still our best receiver by far. Tight end Anton gets a +4, jumps over Kuntz. We got a new starter here, physical route runner. +4, we really needed more. Really needed more than that. Sheffield's into the 70s. Watson not far behind. Hector doesn't upgrade his overall. We really need some guys to walk on here late. We're going to have a pretty rough offensive line if they don't. No upgrade for Moore. I didn't think he would. That's why I was fine if he left. Logan Thomas does get that +3, one of our 380+ overalls. Braver also does get a nice upgrade, so he's probably actually going to be our starter on the other side. Redshirt freshman. DT Weber +4, +6 here for Chala. We're not going to be a big interior. That's for sure. Definitely not going to be big. We're not strong down the middle either. Sam gets the +3 with Derek Houston. +5 for Tagaloa Lee. That's massive. Needed that. +9 for Caden Reynolds. Welcome to the playing field, Caden Reynolds. Cornerback wise, we do have an 80 overall there. +5 for Taylor. Why I wanted to keep him around. We're definitely still looking like a zone team this year. We might be able to press a little bit with Scott. +4 for Davis. 3 for Smith. +4 Nixon. 2 Brown. Could have been worse. Stovall does not upgrade. That's unfortunate. +2 for Brockhouse. I mean, there's some good things here. You know, we came through in a lot of areas that we needed it. A couple spots we could have used more. Strongest guy on the team is Jeremiah Cooper. 66 overall, though. Do we have anyone who surprisingly can throw the ball? Not Jackson Moore, I can tell you that much. We got an 88 throw power here with the running back. You should be a quarterback. Is it too late to switch? It's definitely too late to switch. He should be a quarterback. His short accuracy is better than any of our other quarterbacks. His medium actually isn't that bad either. Why is he listed at running back? This dude is a quarterback. You kidding me? Our best quarterback isn't even listed at the spot. We could change him now. I mean, we can still change his position. Actually, he's an NIL guy. We can. We may have to run some Wildcat offense. I'll keep his number at 21. I don't care. Blame Bear Bachmeyer. Yeah, we can't change his position now. So we're gonna have to see. Is there a package that we could use? Well, we could call the plays, so we could still put him in some certain packages. That's something to keep an eye on. That's something to keep an eye on for sure. I'm glad we checked that. Really glad we checked that. Any defenders who should be playing receiver? Adam Taylor? No, he can't route run. Why is a Will linebacker our fourth best hand? Tied for third. He went up 17. Hayden Reynolds. Team captain? All right. We got some interesting players on this team. We went down half a star. How? I'm going to save these points for now because I'm considering we might need to unlock Tactician to get some certain boosts this year. But any remaining skill points will automatically be spent on player progression when you advance. Yeah, I don't do player progression. That's all the game. Please, if you want to upgrade them more, be my guest. But I didn't see the linemen that we saw get the dev trait boost there. So maybe now they're here. Encourage transfers. We are sitting at a roster size of 67. That's rough. Just trying to take a quick scroll here to see if I see any new names. Doesn't look like it so far. I know we had some tight ends we were going after, but those names don't look new. I imagine they would also be higher overalls, too. So maybe we aren't going to get anyone walking on here late. No. There's McVay. So we did get someone new. But there was another lineman that we're supposed to get. And we even got the thing saying that his dev trait upgraded. I'm really confused. Maybe guys are slowly starting to show up. So that's massive. We now have 2 starting tackles. Though McVay should be a guard. He's raw strength. That's still massive. And Michelle's here. Yeah. We got 2 new players in here on the line. So that's now 2 starting guards. And then maybe Sheffield plays center. I don't know why I said maybe, but we did either way. We're still a little light at one of the tackle spots. But that's a lot better. And we get Jamario Alexander, an 84 overall. Boys, we're feeling much better now. We're feeling much better. He's slow as all get out. He's a defensive tackle. So he's not going to be playing on the outside. He holds that weight pretty well, though. I'll say that. We can't edit at this point. So we'll come back, see if we can move him later. But again, if he's an NIL player, we can't. But that's massive. We also get Will Weber was here. I just saw the 81. I got excited. No one getting cut there. Thomas is in Crabble. That's what it was. It wasn't offensive line. It was defensive line. So we get we get one other edge rusher. So we've got a good backup at least here in Braxton Craver. We could get a little bit more rotation in that mix then. Yeah, because Alexander's playing down the middle. Tell me something good about linebacker. I already had Houston. We already had Reynolds. So we didn't get any other linebackers. Was Reynolds a transfer? I think Reynolds was a transfer. So we did still bring in the 2 that I said would be starters. And then we also have Houston. So we're actually really good at linebacker for starters. Horrible with depth. Absolutely horrible. Cornerback. Adam Taylor was already here, so... But there are 5 players here. We only had 4 before. Dante Gilbert? Is that the new guy? I think that's the new guy. So we're decent here at corner. I think it's playable for sure for our level. Jaden Davis is in. Smith, no one good or no one new there. So we're still a little light at safety. I thought we brought in 2. Was it Nixon? Because they were older. Or it might have been Warren Smith. These 2 might have been the transfers. I can't even remember the guys we were looking for the transfers now. Did we bring in the punter? I don't think so. It's fine. We got a good enough punter here at Brockhouse. Took him off the soccer team, something like that. Now, there were athletes that we're going after from the high school level. They didn't join. Feel a lot better about that. Custom conferences, though, now's time to make the change. Changing Teams Conference impacts its Dynasty Blueprint budget. That's something to keep in mind. As conference prestige affects yearly dynasty points, this may increase or decrease available resources, impacting support staff, facilities, and NIL. Understand. So when we joined, we were stashed into the MAC. It was the only conference that was willing to add us. It's no longer even. We got to change that up, right? Mountain West would make it uneven. Pac-12 would also make it uneven, but they need teams, right? And if we look at the teams in the Pac right now, California team, San Diego State, Fresno State, California team, Boise State's at least more West Coast, Oregon State, West Coast. You got Washington State that's West Coast, Utah State not that far off. A little bit weird here with Texas State and Colorado versus the Mountain West. If I'm not mistaken, Air Force is on the other side of the country, so that one's weird. Hawaii, we'll call it West Coast. NDSU, not really. You do have San Jose State, which is a California team. I think, honestly, Pac-12 might be a better fit for us. So we are going to pack our bags from the MAC. We almost won it year one, but now we're out of here. Listed 72 overall, and we are headed to the Pac as they continue trying to build back to 12 teams. We will insert ourselves here. 76, 69, 72, 74, 71, 69, 75, 72, and 72. We fit in beautifully. Now, conference rules. Divisions off. Number of conference games, 8. How many teams do we got? 9, so we're just going to not play against one. Though, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of conferences did switch over to 9 games. So let's just make sure we're playing everyone then. That makes more sense to me. Just kidding. Can't change that. Conference leader? No. We're going to go to SoFi. Championship game, selection criteria, conference record, always. Number of protected opponents, 2? Sure. What do we have in protected opponents? So we will always play against Boise State and Colorado State. Does Fresno State even have a rivalry with Washington State? I think they do. Let me just double check that. So for Fresno State, they should be playing against San Jose State and San Diego State. In a fierce regional series, Boise State. So, yeah, that's a no. So for Fresno State, we got San Diego. And then San Jose's not in the division. So I say we swap that out. Why did it lock it? I'm confused. How is this supposed to work? I haven't done it before. So you switch which ones you want to have it with? Protected opponent swap has been successful. That's just with Boise. I mean, technically that is accurate for them, though. I was kind of hoping, though, that we would get ourselves lined up to play against. Maybe we should just change ourselves then. We should change ourselves with Fresno State and Colorado State with San Diego State. Now theirs are weird. Can I swap? No, why can't I swap? Man, that's annoying. 1 second, getting a phone call. Got to take it here real quick. check 1, 2. Okay, good. Mike's back. Going for lunch later. Got to also pick up dinner. All right. So how is this actually supposed to work then? Because it doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to do. Because I need us to be playing again. Well, technically we are. It just messes things up for the other teams. But do we really care? For being honest, do we really care? We're not those other teams. I want to make sure we are playing every season against California schools. So that's what we're going to stick with. Might mess with other guys, but it is what it is. Lock those in. We'll call that good. Conference is set. We are moving to the Pac-9. We're getting close. Maybe next year we look at bringing back Cal and Stanford. We're looking for a little bit more competition because we got to even some of these out. Like, way too many. They're also not even. Stanford has 77 right now, so at least they're still fitting in with the conference. They're not the top dogs, but, you know, doing better. Need them to have a better year this year. Go Trees. All right. Manage blueprint then. How much does that change things for us? Whoo, look at that budget. We doubled our budget, basically. We had 560 last year. Now we're working with 1,100. Oh, we can breathe now. We can breathe now. We got a lot that's just unspent, I guess, right now. So we might need to rework some things later. But we're going to keep with the portal program. That's how Coach wants to build. He was a portal player himself with the Kent State series, so he believes in the portal. But that is a massive boost here for us. And now we might be able to afford upgrading our facilities if we could do that before the season. Can we do that before the season? We can. Facility upgrades are available during the end of season recap. So actually, no, we can't. We can, however, do this. We also don't have a whole lot of money to spend right now. Apparently, it's still capped at the 70. We just go to all. What are we looking at here? Does this give me the cost of 500 is not blocked, but I look up there and I see 70. So I'm not sure exactly. Do season health usage potentially. Honestly, we can't afford most of this right now unless something's lying to me about that 70. But I think we could do that later. So we'll come back to that later. Either way, we do need to upgrade our facility next year. We'll have the budget to do so. Because I don't think I could improve anyone's pay right now. I don't remember looking at what Ebikadi's overall was. I need to go back and check that after. He was supposed to be our best high school recruit. Okay, we're looking all good here. Got the money. We are not encouraging anyone to transfer because we already have a really light roster. Good old cherry ginger ale. Gotta love it. Now, again, a lot of these guys, it might just be one-year stopgaps. Look how big that jump was. We're feeling a lot better. All right, now we could actually start managing things. And we've got 600 to work with, so things have reset here with the new budget installed. That's great. Okay. Hire staff. I know we need to do that. We got one spot open. And we are going to look to probably do some things with our recruiting. Recruiting hours increase would probably be pretty big. We only have $180 to work with, though. If we're keeping within our... so the suggested is 165. So that has us down in this range then. We can still get a recruiting hours increase, which I think we need. We saw how rough things were for us last year. We basically have the same rules allotted to us this year, so we're going to really just recruit heavily California. 2 stars. That's what we're looking at, because these 1 stars we just saw, absolutely trash. They're 50-something overalls. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend some money here. And that keeps us actually under budget, which is nice. 150. 10% recruiting hours increase. We also got a... Actually, no, I forgot. We did not get the master or expert recruiter or whatever it is, because he didn't want to come here because we didn't have the money to hire him. Next time we will, though, with that new budget here in the Pac-12, Pac-9, whatever you want to call it. Facilities, we could spend a little bit here. They suggest 55. We're not looking to spend a whole lot on our facilities, apparently. As a portal program, I guess that does make slight sense. We might overspend here, though. I think we're going to go with something around reduce wear and tear. Because we had a lot of injuries, a lot of guys beaten up throughout the year. So we're going to get an ice plunge. Once purses, you can now get a refund for the equipment. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so we spent a little bit over there. We spent a little bit under on the other side. All in all, I think that's a wash. But we at least have a plunge. We are also sitting at right now a basic facility. So we do definitely need to get some upgrades going sooner rather than later. But we need to win something first. Okay. So that is the budget then installed. And we got 375 unspent to use in recruiting, I'm assuming. So it's got an allotment here of that anyway. So we'll see how that ends up working out. As for now, we can't spend any more. Set up recruiting board. I'm going to do, well, we'll look over that a little bit. Start leaving your ideas as well for teams we should be playing. Oh, it doesn't seem like we could change all too much. I wouldn't mind a rematch versus NDSU. Kent State, we played them, I think, last year. We played against a lot of Kent State. Let's look for, now this is late in the year. Stanford is available here late. That could cause a little bit of some disturbance, but I would like to make sure we are playing California schools. We'll go play at the farm too. And normally, Stanford does play. At least the last couple of years, I could have sworn I've seen them play Sac State, so that makes sense. Arizona State, I don't know if we're to that level here. We don't want to bury ourselves in these non-conference. Not a whole lot of options, though, right here. What's the stretch looking like? That is a rough stretch. This is going to be an open. I'd rather play another game here later or something to give us a bit more of a bye week. Open up the year, new year against the Toads, perhaps? What are the other options? Northwest, Portland? I don't think we played the Grizzlies or the Kodiaks yet. Yeah, let's go Northwest instead. We played against the Toads. We've seen them on the channel. 3, 4. So we're going to give ourselves an extra game here then at the end. Ball State, UConn, Delaware, IO. So none of these really fit what we're looking for. Could play an old MAC opponent. IO. Maybe do a little shout out to the MAC days. For color variety, let's go with Ball State. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're lower overall, and I don't know how this team's going to play. All right, so that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go at Stanford. And that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we got ourselves at least a home game to wrap up the season. A little senior day action. I think that's good. We'll mark that as the schedule then, and we will check out what this board may just look like here for us. Again, we're going to dive heavily into the California guys because I don't want to be recruiting these 1-stars. So Cali only for us. Season 2 recruiting, taking a new approach. Want to be against trying to bring in some more quarterbacks. Obviously, again, we're looking at 2 stars here. It's all we can look at. There are some pocket passers. We also should be keeping an eye on what the deal breakers are, right? Save ourselves some trouble down the line. If we could find like a 2-star with like a proximity to home or something like that that we know isn't going to change and put us in a bad spot, that might be a good idea. Backfield creator. Not exactly what we're looking for. We're dipping pretty low here. Championship contender. They're looking for D-. It can't really get much worse than a D-. Already has some interest. We're going to put Cortez Talbot on the board. We have 300 hours here, so we don't have a whole lot. Do need to find some running backs. Elusive Bruisers are preferred. Contact seekers could work. Proximity to home. Have interest. Get on my board. Playing time, Elusive Bruiser. Have C+. Need is D-. Get on my board. Another Elusive Bruiser with proximity to home. You guys are speaking my language. He is a JUCO. Again, at this point, beggars can't be choosers. We do still need a fullback. There is one available to us. Playing time is big. Utility's there. I guess we'll just have to toss that man on the board. Receivers apparently only need one. We do have some young guys. We have a route runner at the top. That would be more of our slot guy. And all of the guys we have currently right now are basically wrong in terms of the archetypes we need. So Big Hill has us on the board. Elusive route runner is another one we could use. Proximity to home, though, that's not going to change. Conference prestige, also not going to change. 6'1", 160. No boost, though, there for our pipeline. So let's help ourselves out then. Tight end. They say we need 3. I mean, we didn't really address it this year, so probably. Gritty possession, that works. Playing time, that works. Pure blocker, vertical threat, pure blocker. Not great matches here for us. But being 6'4", 216. Playing style, though, I mean, it's not great. Coach prestige. We have a D. It's not going to get any worse, I sure hope. I'm going to toss these 2 on the board. All right. Getting to the line here. We do need some tackles. We do need some guards. Of course, again, we're looking for well-roundeds for the guards. Agile, not a good fit. So no 2-stars that match what we're looking for are interested out the gate. Raw strength is more interior. Toss them on the board for now. See what we got at guard. Interest here, raw strength, love to see it. Interest, well-rounded, love to see it. And some more raw strength. That's a lot of guards. We do need 3 guards, though. That's more of 4 right now, but we'll sit tight with that. We already have 15 targets on the board. Light at center. Unfit, that's fine. Keep them off the board. A lot of edge rushers here with some interest. Speed rusher, thank you. Edge setter, not interested. Speed rusher, thank you. More speed rush. How many we need? 4? Perfect. Edge setters. In which case we'll go with the top one. And hopefully he's got some... Well, there are other 2 stars. Never mind, actually, with that. They just ran out of the list of those that were already interested. Speed rusher here, though not interested. Pure power. Speed rusher, thank you. Help us out there a little bit. DTs, what are we working with here? We got a Perkins. Pure power. We could work with some pure power as a nose tackle. We need 3. Seems like we're just finding nose tackles. A little bit of a power rusher. I like the mix. 22 targets, and we still need 4, 6, 9, 12, 14, 15 players. So we're going to have to sacrifice some. Signal caller works for me. Thumper, no. Lurker, yes. More lurker. How many of these guys? We need 4 of them. Signal caller. Mikes. Only 1 2-star with interest. He is a lurker, though. That's good news for us. We'll go back over then to outside, because these guys, we're moving them around a little bit. First, signal caller, love it. Great fit. Cornerback. 7 spots remaining. We could wait on the kicker and punter till later. And we've got 7 spots left to fill. Or needs to fill, I should say. Cornerback. Anyone with some interest? Yes, we do. I mean, honestly, at this point, we've been going a little bit more towards the zone. I prefer we maybe stick with that. Crummy, like it. Has interest. Bump and run, that's more of a man. Bump and run, more of a man. Zone, love it. Give me 1 more then. That just maybe doesn't have interest. Boundary, I believe, is a little bit more towards the man. You're looking for zone and field. Love it. Safeties. We're running a 4-2-5, so we need cover specialists and hybrids. Got a hybrid there. Wrestler box specialist. I feel like we might need to toss in a Rudolph. And coverage specialist there, so that's still missing an extra safety for the final spot we've got on our board here. And technically, we don't even have enough to get 1 round of scouting on these guys. A bit unfortunate. We'll go with James Diaz because he has got that interest. He's a box specialist. Would still fit in a little bit to that hybrid role for us. That is our board, as full as can be. All 2 stars, all players from California. These are the best kind of great guys we could look to bring in. Unfortunately, we still cannot scout them all. Everyone is going to get at least a little bit here. Maybe we skip out. We can skip on the fullback. We got 1 option there, so we get only 1 option with receiver. So we'll just skip on the areas that we only got 1 option and see if that makes it up for us. We still may be a little bit light. We are at least unlocking 40% this year, which is nice. Last year, I think we were only getting max 20 per spend. Awareness not too great there. And this is just to give us a good idea of who we actually want to keep on the board, who we're fine moving off from. Down to 110. I feel like we might be able to maybe skimp out some on some information on the safeties. Just because, again, I know we need a linebacker desperately. Got to build that group up almost from the ground up. Corners as well. So we're going to spend the rest of our 30 points here. We're going to scare... Who was the cover specialist? You're getting our point. Our last scout goes there. Again, this just gives us a rough guide here. This is as much information as we can get ourselves before we head into the year. We still can't afford a true scout, so we will not be scouting anymore past this point. But it gives us at least an idea of what these players are like and if we should be spending more points elsewhere. Maybe we could find or hope that we find a Gem 1 star that are better than these 2 stars. That would be the only other option we have moving forward until we get to the next off season. But this is going to be our board, at least to start the year. We'll check the roster one last time, a little bit of a recap as to what we were able to get done today and maybe some things that were a little bit lacking. Again, we tried to bring in a potential new starter at quarterback. We failed on that 2 times. We got some depth in there. We've got now double the players we had after the signing day for 80 plus. We now have ourselves 6 80 plus players. Isaiah Scruggs will get the start at quarterback, but if he doesn't play well, Dion McKinney has made a push for some more playing time. Running back wise, it will be Rainey as the prime. We'll see Elias Brown hit the field as that number 2 and as well as the 3rd down back. We'll see how well they're able to do as a tandem. We had a great 3 last year. AB, Davion Godley sees a little bit of some playing time. He's the slowest of the bunch, but he actually has the best acceleration. And we have a secret quarterback here that we found in Isaiah Enney. So next year, please do remind me that we need to switch him over to quarterback. And to help you help me, if you haven't already, hit that bell icon in the bottom right corner to subscribe. And you can go down below and you can hit that bell icon so that way you get notified you're here for everything we do. And if you enjoyed this off season, make sure you do hit that thumbs up. It helps YouTube, it helps me, and it helps you. Again, make sure you don't miss out on any of the fun. But we got a secret plan here with Isaiah Enney. We got to find a way to get him some snaps at QB this year. We did change a tight end over to fullback, so we do have a true fullback this year. Moses returns, and we see Hardy and Fesquez actually, or Fescues. I'm going to have to check which one that's supposed to be. We did see them take a good jump in the offseason. They're going to be ready to go. We probably will at most run 3 receiver sets, primarily going to be more heavier sets. 1 tight end, 1 fullback, maybe 2 tight ends. Get Anton and Kuntz a little bit of some playing time. But also we got to keep an eye on Arvis Battle Jr. That looks like a new name. I don't remember seeing that one throughout the offseason. Maybe we had another tight end walk on. We probably offered him something. What are we looking like here? Does have some better hands than most, so maybe Battle gets the start over Kuntz. Route running those worse. We'll play it. We'll see how the tight end, the second tight end, the heavier sets look, and if we need to make a change there, we definitely can. We will not be starting. Actually, we might be starting McVay. But in terms of offensive line, you know, the guys that were on roster did see a little bit of some development, but we did bring in a couple big-time starters that we're going to have to spread across the line. Miles McVay will get a start at guard. So will Michelle. Stallworth will get the start at tackle. And we'll see who is the week. We've been here for a little long, right? Can't speak anymore. The 1 weak link. Try to say that 80 times fast. Or just 5. But we got to figure out who's getting the start at center and who's getting the start at the oppo tackle spot. This is probably the spot that we will start Stallworth. And right tackle is just going to have to be our best next man up. As for edge rush, we did bring in Alexander. He was a late addition, but he is a star dev with a physical inside disruptor. He will be played not at edge rush, but at nose tackle probably. I think he's our heaviest offensive or defensive lineman from Tip City, Ohio. And we only paid him $5. As for right or edge true rush, we have 3 different guys who will see some playing time. Thomas Crabble, who did get that boost for his dev up to impact. Craver will rotate in with that group. But as for who starts on what side, looks like Crable will be our front side, our strong side. Help lock that in, help with the run stops. Again, we're going to get that edge man moved over for a DT spot. Weber will be the next guy there. Probably we'll see some rotation up front. As for linebacker, Houston stayed. We had to pay him a good chunk of money, much more than the 5 that we spent elsewhere. We did bring in Vaughn Tagaloa Lee, and we brought in, I'm pretty sure Caden Reynolds was another transfer. So we got 3 starters, the 4-2-5 defense. That means we've got some rotation, which is great. Aaron Scott Jr. did transfer in, as well as Jonte Gilbert. Both will be in the starting lineups. Gilbert will rotate in when we switch from the 4-2-5 and some nickel looks. He'll come in the slot most likely for those nickel looks, as he is the slower of the 3. As for safety, Jaden Davis does transfer in. I believe Warren Smith as well. We'll see who gets that starting spot as that nickel safety. It's in the mix right now with Nixon, Brown, and Smith Jr. Gooden will definitely be redshirted. He's not prepared. We also have KJ Jefferson. Is it the same name as a receiver who's been up in the NFL level? Now, 84 speed there is rather slow. Coverage is honestly mixed. He may not be a bad option, but the tackling looks pretty good there with Brown. If we're going to be down by the line, we need some good tackling. Unless Smith can outdo that one. And he can't. What it looks like actually is one of these guys will shift over, play strong. And that leaves Nixon and Brown to then decide who's going to be playing more of that robber safety. And I think it's going to be Tevin Brown, who may also have been a transfer. One of those 2 guys were a transfer. I know we kept her on 1 guy and 1 was a transfer. Kicker Stovall does stick around. Hunter Brockhouse joins us. We tried to find some late high school guys there. None of them ended up joining. We didn't get the transfer quarterback either. But all in all, I'd say for trying to min-max last season as much as we could with as little as we had, I think I got to give this a successful go. Let me know your thoughts on it, whether it's in the chat or if you're watching later in the comments below. But let's look to wrap things up here for today. We also moved conferences. We'll be part of the new Pac-9, and we'll be playing a lot more California schools. That's going to be a focus throughout this year. And we'll get things ready to go next time. Speaking of which, let me pull up my calendar here to give you guys a good idea of when that's going to be. So tomorrow, later today, I got to get the episode for UAB edited. That should be out tomorrow. We'll be back here late Saturday with a stream for our Road to Glory for Forrest the Cowboy Governor. We'll be off on Sunday. And then we'll be back Monday, UAB. That might be a later day episode. And looks like we may need to push. You know what? Let's get this next season started on Tuesday. So not Wednesday. We'll go live Tuesday. And based off the rest of the week, it looks like Thursday will also be our Road to Glory, and we'll wrap up the week then on Friday with UAB back again on that following Monday. So it'll change around. I'm trying to do my best to make sure I post every single week, especially if it's not a normal week, which is supposed to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If it's abnormal to that, I would post it in the community tab. Great way to make sure you are there to see what the new schedule is going to be for that week is hitting that bell icon down below. That way you do get notified when I do post that community tab, because sometimes YouTube will not put that on your suggested page or your home page if you open up the app, or definitely doesn't show it if you watch it on your TV. Can't say anything about tablet. I'm not sure. But that is where we're going to wrap things up for today. Appreciate you all being here. If you enjoyed, let YouTube know. That way they know that you are enjoying, and we could go ahead and get a larger watch party going here for season 2. Coach Bobby Ellington, his biggest thing this year is he's got to make sure we're winning games, we're bringing in that NIL money, and we get this facility upgraded, because AD's not infatuated with us. We're safe for now, but that's not guaranteed. So until tomorrow, where I see you guys with UAB, I'm going to leave it off right here. Thank you for joining, and go have a great rest of, what day is it? Thursday, I believe. Hope you have a great Thursday, Friday, and we'll see you for a couple more things left this week.